When humans aboard a colony ship fleeing the Traveler's Ways got tangled with the darkness, they were transported into a pocket dimension called the Distributary and became the first AWOKEN. Now this included all of the crew aboard that ship and some 40,000 passengers in tow, but when this transformation occurred, all but 9 of those people made it through. Today we're going to further discuss these 9, talk about other possible emissaries, and what the 9's plans may be moving forward.
This truth is our burden. This is what it is to be awoken. My people were born of calamity. Who knows what will awaken when it collapses again? Maybe only then will you understand.
The stars have gone out, the universe blackened, a shroud of nothingness drawn over the Yang Liwei, its 40,000 sleeping passengers, its 900 crew, and maybe even the whole solar system. There is no way to know because there is no way to see anything beyond the hull. The vacuum itself has become hostile to the propagation of light. Darkness surrounds them. So that description there is from Cosmogyre 3, which explains all these people aboard the Yang Liwei right after the darkness and light collided outside of their vessel. Now this gets more interesting when we read the first cards for when they actually awoke in the Distributary and what the heck went on then. It says, 2 became 4 and the 4 called out, and so the 4 became 8. In this manner, conjured forth by their doubling, the sleepers did awaken. In time, the Awokens spilled across the face of the world, and their number was 40,891. They drank the sweet rain and ate of the fruit of the forest, and the starlight pooled as clear oil on their skin. First of their tongues was speech, and the first of their hunting weapons was the bow. Now the Awoken called out for a name to distinguish world from unworld. The 891 said to the 40,000, "Let this world be named Tributary, for we dream of a great river from which we have parted." But the 40,000 were troubled, and they asked to know their antecedent, the place from which they came. "We did not awaken from the sleep that we entered," said the 40,000. "In our rest we passed through some terminus, and our atavism was severed from us. How did it happen thus?" So there we get a little bit more information. It says the 891 said to the 40,000, so I'm guessing the 40,000 is still those passengers as mentioned before, and the 891 could have been the crew, but as we mentioned when this video started, there was 900 crew members in total, meaning that 9 of these people were missing. Now I don't think this can be some sort of coincidence, but next to that it's going to be kind of hard to find a solid answer as to what happened to these 9 Awoken or where are they currently now. We know what the 9 are, right? The 9 are space dust dark matter that is a part of the planets and our solar system. So it would be kind of crazy to say straight up that those 9 that disappeared are the 9 themselves, but they could still play a part in who they are, and we're going to talk about that next. So if we look at Ghost Fragment Legends 2, I believe it's called, from Destiny 1, we get all of these descriptions of what the 9 could be. And while we don't see dark matter space dust on this list, some of these actually do exist in the game in other ways. This then led many to believe that these aren't actually the 9 themselves, but rather groups or things that assist them or call themselves a part of the 9. Now if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, for example, you have all the saviors who say, "I'm Negan." Now we know their names all aren't Negan, they just say that because they fight for the same cause and follow the same guy. They're Negan, this is the collective group together fighting out there in the wilds. This is sort of the same thing here with the 9 if this is true, they're calling themselves the 9, they are a part of them, but not the 9 themselves. You get the point, let's read these. The 9 are survivors of the Cisjovian colonies who made a compact with an alien force to ensure their own survival. The 9 are deep orbit war minds who weathered the collapse and hardened stealth platforms. The 9 are ancient Leviathan intelligences from the seas of Europa or the hydrocarbon pits of Titan. Now, no exact confirmation on this, but we do know there's something pretty large swimming around in the seas of Titan. I know they say seas of Europa and hydrocarbon pits of Titan, but it could be the giant thing we see. We've speculated before this is a giant worm, but it also could fit this description if you're thinking about it a little bit of a different way. Next, the 9 arrived in a mysterious transmission from the direction of the Corona Borealis supercluster. We can see that the emissary mentions the Corona Borealis supercluster various times from early Destiny 2 Trials dialogue.
Watch for us on the filaments of dark matter, in the hydrocarbon pits of distant moons. This? In the direction of the Corona Borealis supercluster. Pierce the lightless void beyond the northern skies and meditate in the hissing silence. Or do nothing. We are everywhere and nowhere at once. If you don't see us, you're not thinking small enough. Now go home. Safe harbor is very far away.
The 9 are the firstborn AWOKEN, and their minds now raised down the field lines of the Jupiter Isle Flux tube. So this is the one for today's card, firstborn AWOKEN that still stayed in Sol. We don't know where the Distributary is. I mean, I'm guessing it's somewhere different, not in the solar system, but these firstborn AWOKEN staying around Jupiter and Io and that whole thing sounds like the Yang Liwei crew to me. The 9 are ghosts who pierced the deep black without a ship and meditated on the hissing silence of the heliopause. Now again, in early Destiny 2 Year 1 cards, we learn of a guardian named Orin who sought the ways of the 9 and what it meant to be a part of them. In Season of the Drifter, and maybe even a little bit before that, it's confirmed that Orin is the emissary, but before that, she found these 9 guardianless ghosts without ships out in the deep black and had a discussion with them. The 9 are aspects of the darkness, broken by the Traveler's rebuke, working to destroy us from within. Now, I'm not too sure about this one. I was just trying to think of, theories for each of these different lines here, but we do know the 9 caused the Red War. Believe it or not, they are the ones who blinded our defenses and let Gaul's forces in because they wanted to see how the Traveler would react, and it would let them learn how they can possibly use the light for themselves and become physical.
And comms have been spotty for the last few hours. Every sensor beyond the wall has gone dark.
Maybe it's just the storm. Maybe it's... What are the set feeds telling us?
Nothing.
Well, that's good, right?
No. I mean, they're not there. There are no satellites.
And that's not good.
The 9 is a viral language of pure meaning, and the 9 are shadows left by the annihilation of a transcendent shape burned into the weft of what is. So while I don't have an answer to what happened to those 9 AWOKEN, I think it's safe to say that the 9 may have some other emissaries of sorts scattered throughout the solar system. It's either that or Bungie threw away this Destiny lore entirely, but if that's the case, I don't think we would be seeing some of these stories in Destiny 2 that have all of these similarities to the Legends 2 card. Now to wrap up this video, Guardians, I wanted to talk about last week's invitation of the 9 real quick. Now I was going to bunch that one with this week's and make a video on the two of them together, but as we know, there's a giant bug right now stopping us from getting that completed. Bungie tweeted saying they are working on it since Friday. They've known this was a thing, but in summary, you can't get Vex kills, which is the last step for this week's invitation of the 9. So when they tweak it, you should be able to go into the Warden of Nothing strike, actually kill the Vex to complete it, and hopefully that will be ready before reset. Not sure if it will be, but if it is, definitely be sure to tell the others in the comments down below so they can go ahead and get it done. But for now, let's take a look back at last week's. I'll play it for you and then we can explain what she's talking about.
I'm sorry. I really miss him.
Yeah, me too.
How did you say you knew each other again?
Oh, Namchi and me were buddies. Met in a little dive on Ceres. Used to play cards. He talked about you a lot. Said the Queen trusts you to talk to the 9 for her. That true?
Yeah, sort of. Doesn't seem important anymore.
Yeah. Well, you ever need a shoulder to cry on, I'm here for you.
So this is Orin, or the Emissary, as a guardian a long time ago. Both her and the Drifter did know each other, and he would talk to her from time to time. In this invitation, we can see Orin is grieving over the loss of Namki, or Namchi as the Drifter says it. This specific individual was a pilot for the Reef and helped Orin on her journeys to learn the truth. If you'd like to see more on that, I have an in-depth video talking about the relationship in the past, and that's over on my channel. But Namki did eventually die, and the Drifter tells Orin that he would be there for her in a time of need. So this story definitely does evolve in the coming weeks, and I wanted to see what this week's invitation was going to be about, and hopefully we get to do that before reset. But I do think it's super cool that we get a glimpse of this lore in the game instead of, reading the cards all the time, even if it's a little hologram flashback. Anyway, Guardians, if you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for some more awesome Destiny 2 news and entertainment. Also, if you have Discord, check the link down below and you can join our community Discord and have some chats with us. But thanks for watching, my name is Evade, and I'll catch you Guardians in the next one.